Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS European Challenger. We're getting ready to move into the grand finals to crown our regional champion. Will it be Serral, or will it be the guy that Serral's facing? My name is Fear Dragon, and here with me is Nathanius. What's up?
Well, I just don't know what to say, Fear Dragon. The guy that Serral's facing has been on the losing end of the equation all year long.
No, you know what? I'm going to actually defend him there, because there is exactly one time he did manage to defeat Serral in the grand finals of WCS Challenger Season 0. That's right. You might be wondering, what is Season 0? That is the challenger, or I should say the qualifier that ended up happening for Leipzig, which we didn't have a broadcast for. We didn't have one of these studio broadcasts for. So that's why I call it Season 0.
Are we going back? Are we going back 8 months for that?
We're going back, I think, January, December, somewhere around there.
That's a long time ago. Well,
Yeah.
Leipzig was at the end of January, so
Yeah.
we'd have to be going back
It
to
must
almost
have
towards
been
Christmas.
it must have been about 9 months ago now. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, you know, there was that one time, and that is technically this year.
You know, in esports years, that's like
43
43 years.
43, okay.
years, yeah.
Okay.
They're even shorter than dog
That's an
years.
entire career.
They're
somewhat.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
Even
guys.
shorter than dog years.
This is the bracket that we had to get to this point with these two ultimate Zerg players facing off against each other. Serral making his run over Zerg players, 3-0 and 3-1, showing a little bit of blood in that second match. Elazer coming on over Nurchio and Euthermal. So he's played a little ZvZ himself today, but now he's going to be facing up against the ultimate contender. And the kind of funny thing, though, is that I have heard some people, I mean, I like to make tweets before every season of Challenger. I say, who do you think is going to be the player that takes maps off of Serral or beats him? And Elazer is actually the most commonly stated person. Is someone
You have
who
a percentage for me?
I want to say it was probably like 40 or 50%
How
of the
many
people would say that
voted?
voted. No, it was
How many people?
responses.
How many people responded?
Maybe like 10 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say like 40 or 50% of them
Okay.
were like, you know what? I think that Elazer can take maps, and one person was like, I think Elazer can beat him. I'm like, good for you.
Bold claim.
All right.
Euthermal thought the same thing a couple seasons ago, actually, too. You know, and then he tried to change race in the middle of the match.
No, that was a different series. They tried to change race.
He did it several times, as far as I'm aware.
I think he tried to do it. Maybe he tried to change it.
He did it while I was here, and I know that he did it when
He tried to do it versus
Roddy tried.
Snoot,
He did it when
and
Roddy was casting him.
Something different happened with Roddy.
Okay. Okay.
That was not him trying to change races.
I
but
have
yeah.
to dig up. I have to dig up more information.
All right.
Then.
Well, guys, we're getting started. This is going to be a best of 7 between these two guys. So let's get started on 16-bit. Absolutely no map vetoes for either one of these players.
Nope. Potentially gonna play through them all.
All right, starting down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we got our blue Zerg player. He is Elazer from Team Clash.
He is facing off against the player who is so good that people hate us for talking about how he just can't lose. He is Serral. But I like Fear Dragon.
Serral.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Oh,
Okay, Fear Dragon. You know why?
why?
Because I love the point you made before we got on air right now, okay? So instead of saying whatever you were gonna say,
That's actually really great because I was literally going to bring up that point.
okay, just go straight to the point, all right? I'm cutting you off to
Okay.
let you speak.
Okay, what villain is Serral? Because
Oh, that's what you were gonna say.
yeah.
Oh, wow, that was a okay. I was literally cutting you off to tell you to say what you were about to say.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad.
Nice. Well, I give everybody's kind of looking at him. He's like the dark villainous type, right? That's how we've.
That's the whole red Sith outfit that he has
Yeah.
in that photo.
Yeah, and you were talking about how if he doesn't have a reign of terror, he's not a good villain, right? So this is just our like in between the prequels and the originals period of time where Serral is he's Vader and he is just rolling
Vader,
around.
okay, I
He's
can
just
dig it.
slaying. He's just slaying.
I like it.
It's not going to be until like another movie or two because we have to establish a new hero, right?
Yeah.
Which hasn't happened yet.
A new hope, you might say.
Yeah, and then maybe eventually they topple Serral. Either that or that weird mask respirator thing just stops working and Serral just gets
It's just
worse
so
at the game.
funny because you describe him as like a Sith or Vader, which is usually, you know, the Sith are all about emotion and embodying anger, and I just imagine Serral in the interviews.
Well, at that stage, he doesn't. But for all we know, when Serral was a kid, he thought sand was coarse and rough and got everywhere, and enjoyed kart racing or some other variety.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything?
You know, just following the role of the character. That's about it. 16-bit is such a macro-oriented map. Neither of these guys have grabbed any gas at all. They are going for the least interesting opening that either of them could have possibly gone for at the same time.
Yeah. So while nothing is happening so far in the ZvZ, did you just prequel me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, one thing that we did notice was that sometimes Serral can drop maps if either, I think in the series versus Lambo, he does something a little bit
So
too
what's the formula there? Why did he drop a map?
So he dropped a map there because he didn't get the proper scouting information, and there was something that he didn't see coming. And that's kind of goes to show you that, you know what, there is still something, there is a mortal aspect to Serral, in that if he doesn't know about something, if you can do a really good job maybe trying to deny something and then surprise him with like something weird, then I think there's a potential to kind of upset him. And the other thing was also, I think, with Scarlet's series versus him at Valencia. We saw Scarlet, I think the way that Jeff put it was kind of like outsmarted him in certain ways.
Yeah.
That's how she was able to take 2 maps off of him.
Yeah, I think like, you really want to try to make the arena less recognizable, you know, like picking
Haas.
maps. Yes, actually, like picking maps that you wouldn't play as much on. Like, for just as the easiest example is Redshift, right?
Which Lambo tried to do and almost made that work.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good play, because you got to think about it like, well, what maps do people not want to play on? It's like, even if Serral didn't have any maps vetoed, if every single person he plays has Redshift vetoed, he's not going to play on it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's the kind of stats I wish we could get from Blizz. Like, how many people vetoed which maps?
You know what's so funny is
I
that
imagine Redshift would have been pretty high up there.
Yeah, I actually think that should be pretty easy to get, because we could look at his profile and look at like the map score.
That's true. You could just check his profile individually and just see how many games he's played on. Of course, we don't know how many accounts he plays on.
That is accurate. Although there's a very, very fun website for those who are interested, sc2unmasked.com. I think it's .com.
That's like the place that just like decodes the barcodes.
Yeah, there's a guy who just spends all of his free time looking at barcodes. It's like, I'm going to look at these hotkeys until I figure out who this is.
Just, you know, it's like interesting. It reminds me of the guy in the you know, that to go back to In Control, the guy in the Matrix that's just like Dozer, right? Or whichever one of them that just like looks at the screen. And he just, he makes sense out of all this.
All the zeros and ones.
Yeah. And there's just a guy who just looks at barcodes all day. He's just stuck in the back room. It's a dark room. No light gets in there.
I believe it. Wow, these are actually just straight. Let's take a look at
They're
the units.
literally doing
look at the units lost,
thing,
right? We do already have a bit of an advantage for Serral.
A huge,
sniped off an Overlord.
Serral has
3 times.
Serral is 3 times ahead of him on resources lost.
And if they're doing everything else identical, I mean, you can see why he's up 6 supply, 2 supply.
Yeah.
With a 4th base on the way at the exact same time as his opponent. Actually, a little bit behind.
Well, you know, that right there is going to be what loses him this match if he drops it.
I mean...
Well, Serral's expanding forward, at least, right? So we got some differences.
Some very mild differences, yeah.
Very minute. Both players are getting 1-1. Both players are getting roach speed. Both players are not getting anything else. So I guess the action will probably pick up once we have roach speed done and they try to poke, prod, attack. Maybe we'll get some burrow shenaniganery going on.
You know, as much as we're memeing about how even and how unbelievably identical this game has been, it is kind of interesting and cool to see how Serral, like all the small little things that we always tout Serral for, and how it's been a completely even game. But Serral's still just a little bit ahead in some regards. He's always just a little bit ahead in supply, or his upgrades are a little bit faster, his 4th base is just a tiny bit faster. All of these small things you get to see in a side-by-side comparison.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is just a good moment to compliment both of them. 2 players left undisturbed do the exact same thing because they both are playing at such a high level that they know exactly what they need to do, assuming that their opponent doesn't send anything towards them. And then they hit that phase where things start to get rolling a little bit more. Meanwhile, everybody in the chat's like, why don't you guys describe them injecting the hatcheries?
The highest level of play. Oh, we actually do have a really nice move there from
Something
Serral.
happened. We see the delays.
Delays.
Upgrade.
which is
+2 carapace.
it actually does allow him to catch up in the upgrades, because his upgrade, it wasn't a massive bit behind, but it's about, you know, 20 or so seconds behind his opponent, so manages to sneak back into about a tied situation there. We're going to see an engagement over here. Elazer having a slightly better concave and also a little bit closer to his own base, so he's going to have faster reinforcements. Serral taking potentially the worst end of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of posturing right now. Looking at the setup that the players have, it's 6 Ravagers versus 6 Ravagers. 32 Roaches versus 35 Roaches.
Very close. It's really going to come
now
down
they're
to
both at 40 and 40, so...
okay, well, this positioning is not great for Elazer. He eats a lot of the Crystal Battles on the ramp, moving into a concave and kind of choked up there. A little bit rough. Serral getting momentarily supply block there for a little bit as he tries to get out a couple more Overlords.
They both contaminate each other's +2 carapace again? Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I think they've been repeatedly contaminating them.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good play. It happened again.
That's actually really cool. A couple more Overlords getting taken out by the Corrosive Battles, or attempted to. But both these players are maxed out now. They're both going for Burrow. They're both going for Tunnel Boss. Despite even the fact that they've finally been engaging each other, they're actually still dead even on everything in the production tab for the most part. Until finally now, Serral throws in the Hydra Dead. Can we get one for Elazer?
Is Elazer gonna do it?
No, he throws out a Mac or a Hatch.
Okay.
We finally have our first major deviation. I was actually getting excited at how even these guys were staying.
Yeah, so many of the same moves being made, even the Overseer play. Overseers don't get enough usage, my dude. They don't cost supply, and they can shut down production and upgrades.
Yeah, they actually prevent normal larva production if you throw
hit
down
them
on
with
a
a hatch. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think it stops the injects though.
I
actually
cannot
forget
confirm
now.
or deny
Yeah.
that. I would guess that it does, but
If it does, that sounds pretty awesome.
maybe
Just get a 4 or 5 and just continuously do it on the hatcheries during the engagement.
It's Infestation Pit for Elazer, by the way. It's the Hydraless 10.
Okay. So maybe gonna try and get up to that hive a little faster, but hey, here we go. Elazer coming in with a flank of Roaches from the north side. Manages to snipe off an extra Ravager there. Can't really push too much further forward. Serral at the same time trying to push forward on this angle. A little bit idle with a handful of his Roaches. He's gonna take it worse. Engagement trade over there. And at the same time, on this end, Corrosive Biles managed to connect on some of those Roaches.
He's like, chase me, chase my Ravagers. And then all the Roaches are gonna unburrow in his main base.
Yep.
Ay.
This is going to get a little bit dicey for Serral, who is not going to have his units in position to help defend this. He's trying to burrow to regen the health, but right now he needs those Roaches to go to his main and go to his natural.
Fear Dragon, I've seen this movie before. Serral loses a bunch of drones and then he builds a bigger army than his opponent and he goes and kills him.
You think so?
Well, he burrowed some of the drones to save them, but yeah, I've seen this. Look at
Okay.
what Serral's building. He's remaxing after he's losing workers. He's remaxing on these units, the army units.
He is, but I'm still a little bit worried right now. Here we're going to see another kind of little tussle in the center of the map. Serral's moving across the map, like you said, Nathanius. He's got a handful of his own Roaches, and I like that Elazer's able to buy a bit of time with the Corrosive Biles, just moving Serral back even just a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
man,
Serral's ahead like 16.
how did
Roaches,
Serral not
almost
take that much
20.
damage there?
He's almost 10 more Roaches now.
Serral only lost 9 workers across all of the Roach harassment.
Yep. And he's like, well, I have enough bank that I don't need to rebuild the workers. So he's been chilling with this. He still has those units burrowed in the back of the opponent's bases. And his Lurker Den's on the way with his Infestation Pit. The Hive is about to pop for Elazer. I wonder what he's going to do with it, considering that he didn't get like a Lurker Den or anything of his own.
Vipers, I guess? I don't know. Well, we see a sick flank over here from Serral, hitting him from both sides. Elazer looked like he played a fantastic game, but it seems like with this fight, he's going to be taking the worst end of this trade. He does still have quite a few Roaches left over, so I don't want
He's getting on the Ravagers of Serral. That is really nice.
Yeah, and Serral finally going to have to back up over here. The Overseer is slightly out of position, so he's not going to be able to actually find a bunch of these burrowed Roaches on the retreat. Serral has done some good damage. He still has those Roaches alive. The Spine Crawler has been taken care of as well, so he's getting back in on that mineral line.
Yep, great harass being done here by Serral as he gets onto him. And in this situation, when you don't have the money to necessarily max out on the units that you want again, it's kind of like, well, I guess losing drones, I kind of want to replace some of them, and we see that. Serral, by the way, is also getting back a few of those drones that we talked about earlier because his bank has mostly been chewed through. It's Vipers for Elazer.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that just because, yes, the Roaches, they're pretty short-range units anyways, but at the same time, you're still going to be able to throw down some good blinding clouds. You can still, if you really want to, pull some of the Ravagers forward and get the snipe offs there.
Yeah.
To prevent
Well, the lurkers.
It's
going to be lurkers coming out for Serral, so the blinding cloud can definitely be used.
Does he know that there are lurkers coming?
I don't know that he does, but whether
He might anticipate it.
At some point they're going to fight, so he's going to see it.
Yeah. Okay, he did see the lurker den earlier on. There's still a couple of Roaches doing their nice little burrowed movement play, moving into the main base, moving into the natural. At the same time that a fight is being teased at over here, lurkers burrowing forward.
Yep, and those lurkers are going to be started to deal with once Serral finishes up that hive.
Okay, a lot of corrosive biles that have been used. Remember that when they're on cooldown, that does allow the lurkers to move a little further forward. But there we go. We end up seeing the Vipers come forward. There's not really much of an answer to them. Blinding clouds.
Yep, and that is unfortunate. Great engagement here by Elazer as Serral. He started his adaptive talon so that his lurkers could burrow faster. That's what you really need to be able to combat this. You need that instant siege and unsiege of the lurkers. And, you know, the harass is doing a good job of pushing back. I would have loved to see him try to use those Roaches, by the way, to focus down the Queen and delay the amount of injects that he has.
Yeah. I think Elazer's done a pretty good job with burrowing the Queen a lot of the time as soon as it gets target fired. But yeah, during that engagement, I don't know if he would have had the attention span for it. It's not over for Serral just yet, but he is down quite a bit of supply, and he really needs the lurkers to try and make these kind of fights happen.
Well, he realizes that so much of the army was still over there in that back base defending and helping to clean up. So he's like, okay, I'll jump on your army for a moment. He's trying to reposition. It looks like some of the spine crawlers, a few of the Hydras are coming out. He needs to turn them into lurkers. He needs lurkers so bad. He does actually lose a few of the Hydralists. They're rallying into the enemy.
The blinding clouds are also going to prevent a lot of these Roaches from really doing a lot of damage to the ton of the fight. The spine crawlers get taken out. And oh my god, Elazer in the first game of this best of 7 for the grand finals, sitting up 75, so 80 supply. And continuing to barrel forward to take game number 1.
All right, it looks like Elazer is going to pick up the first map in our grand finals here of Challenger for Europe Season 3. Wow. Not bad, GG. Oh my god, it happened.
Really well done. And that was just a super straight up, solid macro game from both sides. I did think that there were points in time where I'm like, yes, I think Serral's doing this a little bit better, but that one engagement, I think Elazer
fight with the lurkers. Fight with the lurkers. 2 of the lurkers were too far forward, and they instantly got abducted. The other lurkers, 4 of them were bunched up together. Blinding cloud hits. He left 2 of them burrowed, and he moved 2 of them away. None of them did anything. So you basically had 6 lurkers that did nothing.
Yeah. And the Vipers came out at the absolute perfect time. They had enough energy and everything. Elazer timed that out all very nicely. And he saw the moment that the lurker den came down, so I think he should have had a pretty good sense of exactly how much time he had. And you know what? I have enough time to get up the Vipers in this.
Yep. That's good use of blinding cloud, good use of the Vipers.
Also, I don't even know how this happened exactly, but whenever the Roaches were unburrowing, even when there wasn't a spine crawler there, it felt like not many drones were ever really dying. I didn't really ever see a point where Serral was killing off 15, 20 drones or something in the middle line.
Both players were pretty active with stopping it.
Yeah. They were very, very solid about
the first attack where Serral lost those 9 drones.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well that does mean that we get ready to move into game number 2 now.
Lost and found.
But that leads... This is one of the first times that I think I've ever seen Serral down in a series. In a long time. Because it's not just that someone took a map, it's that Serral very rarely loses the first map also.
Okay. I mean, I would say that what impresses me is that it was just like a straight up.
It was a super straight up game.
Both players were allowed to literally do the same thing all the way up to like the 10-minute mark, and then Serral still lost despite being let free, and that was cool. I do think that when you're playing it on that thin of a razor's edge, the lurker control right there actually lost in the game. It was so close. It was literally just waiting for one tiny push in either direction to decide who was going to take that map.
Okay. Well, let's get started in game number 2. Lost and found, as you mentioned earlier, Nathanius. We're going to have down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the blue Zerg player from Team NC Sports. It is Serral.
Nice. His opponent in the northeast position, the red Zerg player leading the series 1-0. He is Elazer.
Our young Padawan. Will he develop into a Luke Skywalker? Or is he just an Obi-Wan Kenobi?
What are you talking about? Don't hate on my boy.
Yeah, but Obi-Wan does not defeat Vader.
Like when you insult him, you insult Ewan McGregor. When you insult Ewan McGregor, you insult me.
Why is that insulting Ian McGregor?
If you don't understand, you don't deserve to ask the question, Fear Dragon.
Okay.
Hatch first from both players this game, and I will say I'm suddenly more interested in this match now.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of perked up, even in controls.
Yeah,
Probably
actually, In Control
paying a
just
little
told me
more
he was crunching the numbers on his heart rate. He's like, well, Nate, I flew in at 11 p.m. last night and we started at 3 a.m. But you know what? I'm actually feeling a little more awake. It's not just going to be a 4-0 stomp.
And hopefully it won't be a 4-1. But Elazer, by winning again, there was a whole series with Lambo where Serral ends up dropping a map to Lambo. But the way that Serral dropped a map there was he did not scout that there was going to be this big roach attack coming. In that last game, it was just a straight up macro game. I know we keep saying that, but that has a lot of value because that is oftentimes a situation that very few people ever beat Serral in.
Yep, it was really well done. It was really, 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 really well done.
And the funny thing is also, I think Elazer's great. He's a great player for aggression. He's very good at putting on weird kinds of aggression. I think it's more noteworthy in other matchups just because ZvZ has that nature of aggression, but I think that he can hold his own in the early game stages of ZvZ to throw out the early pools or the 13-12 Ling Baneling all-ins, etc. And it's very possible that Serral could also lose another game in this best of 7 to one of those attacks. So he has to still play a little bit with respect to Elazer's playstyle.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we also saw Serral bring out insane aggression to start off the day, so I'm wondering if he starts to lean a little bit more back towards that. Elazer and Serral both start their Baneling nests. This isn't quite the same sort of macro map as 16-bit. No pocket base.
Yeah, gonna have some time. But we'll see where things end up. Both their Zergling speed upgrades are a little bit of a ways from finishing, so they're not going to be moving out anytime too soon. But both these players just getting out small number of Lings. Go put some pressure on. Got 6 out for Serral and just 4 out for Elazer.
Yep, so at this point, it really just comes down to waiting for somebody to be aggressive, or maybe they'll just wait until they've got their thirds saturated. So both players still getting up drones. Baneling Nest is done for Elazer. He hasn't started the Evo. Okay, there's the Evo.
Yeah, we got some time.
Both players basically doing the same thing again, Fear Dragon.
So one of the things that, again, about a best of 7 is that you don't get any map vetoes. You didn't get to say, I don't want to play on any of these maps and stuff.
Nope.
And you were mentioning Redshift. After watching that first game, I normally, before that first game, would have said, yeah, you know what, Elazer should definitely be one of the players that wants to get things weird.
I still think he should. By the way, my mind hasn't changed. Players have occasionally taken maps off of Serral, which we've joked about, but I still don't think that means anything. We're at that stage where I don't think that beating Serral means anything. Like you'd have to really, really decisively win in like a not close series for me to think like Serral has dropped a stoop or you've gone up a stoop.
Yeah.
You know? Because Serral is like Stoop Kid. He's not gonna leave the stoop.
It's not because he's afraid. He's no reason to.
There's no reason to. When you're on the top of the ladder, some say the only way to go is down, or you could just stay there. What a thought.
Just stay at the top of the ladder.
Just chill.
Okay.
People bring you stuff. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We got talent managers for that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Miss.
Oh, cheeky trade. These Lings maybe looking for a cheeky drone. Not gonna find anything.
Gonna end up
+1 missile attacks. Yeah.
For both of these players getting up their lairs. Once again, it seems like these guys.
Gentleman's agreement here. That's like, I don't attack you. You don't attack me.
It does remind me that Elazer is possibly the biggest Serral fanboy out there. I know that a lot of people might think that Elazer is probably one of the biggest Serral fanboys. Do you know how Scarlet used to hype up Neeb?
Yeah.
Elazer is basically that for Serral. He is exactly just that for Serral.
I would just like to say that many of us were doing our best to overhype Neeb, okay? Because he deserved it. He's the 3-time WCS champion. Serral hasn't beaten that accomplishment yet. We'll see.
He hasn't beaten it, but he's tied it.
Yeah. There's an important difference.
Oop. Forces a cancel out. Very nice. With just some of those lings. The lings are not going to find a whole lot more value in this game. They're just going to try and trade out as best they can. Maybe snipe off a drone here and there. Get some annoying damage done to a hatchery. This is going to actually jump on it one more time.
Yep, just waiting for that roach speed so that these lings become less annoying.
Yeah.
As he goes and cleans up. Serral just trying to put on pressure whenever possible. One thing to note, Serral has really taken his sweet time getting his own third. Look, he's just building more roaches.
Yeah.
As the speed finishes. The Overlord's going to see the drone. He's like, are you taking that base, my dude?
He just made some more. Oh, this is almost like a little bit of a fake out at this
I think
point.
we're going to see a big attack coming up.
Throw it down now.
What else is he going to do? No.
No, just continues to make roaches. We're just watching that mineral count right there.
He could build more roaches. 3 Overlords on the way because he wants to build, guess what, even yet more roaches.
And he is not actually leading up in army supply, though. Even though Elazer has a few more drones, we're going to see the roaches start to pile on forward. We end up seeing Elazer coming in with some more roaches on the north side.
Serral does have more roaches overall, but Elazer has the Ravagers in the back, which are going to be able to shoot over his own roaches and adding in that corrosive bile. However, Serral's army is getting very close. Once those roaches get on top of your Ravagers, that's oftentimes considered the beginning of the end, as Faceless would say.
That defender's advantage helping out quite a bit here for Elazer, but that roach buffer is starting to get depleted. And once it gets depleted, Ravager's going to be under fire, but he manages to push Serral back.
Phenomenal hold by Elazer. Elazer up 10 workers. His army survives. Serral did not start a 4th base, which means Elazer should just be ahead in terms of resources that he has to work with. And they're both even on the up. Actually, Elazer's going to get his
massive
+2.
upgrade.
Elazer's getting his +2 way faster. And now he's going for Burrow. Now he's going for the tunneling claws.
Almost a solid minute and a half or 2 minutes faster for Elazer.
That's really nice.
He can really make use of this. And
Burrow
and tunneling claws don't take that long to research, Nate. I think that he could maybe hit.
I'm concerned for Serral in this game now. I actually don't know what, assuming all things remain as they are, and Elazer plays as well as he did the last game, I think Serral is really far behind here.
He is absolutely really far behind right now. There's no way, there's no sense or numbers that you can look at and be like, well, Serral's ahead right now.
Yeah. All right, Fear Dragon, I'm going to ask you a trick question before we get into another fight while these players power up, okay?
Okay.
So, the roaches can move all burrowed, right? Their movement speed upgrade affects them. But what about creep allows a burrowed roach to move faster? Because it does.
Well, you know
if
how
you're underground, wouldn't you be under the creep?
How it's like the slippery slope thing that allows them to slide around.
Well, it's like vibrations or something.
No, we'll say that's the slippery, because creep looks like a little slick, right? So in my theory, they're burrowed underground, but they're still just sliding, but it's the top of their heads that are sliding.
It doesn't make any
on the bottom of the creep.
That's like saying an iceberg can move because the top part is small above water and it's sailing like a boat.
That's how it works.
No, I don't buy that. Failed the test.
Corrosive bile's coming down.
Test. You're never getting hired for WCS again, man. I'm gonna end your career.
Wow.
I love you. All right. Things are going to happen again now. The rocks are being killed. Oh, my God. Okay. And he's going to try to catch him here, pinch him at the rocks, and Serral's like, I've got a big army.
But this is such an all-in for Serral. He only has 3 bases. He never got a 4th base up. He did finish up his +2 weapons upgrade, but
he has a bigger army because of this, though. So he's going to try to lean on that. And he needs to win a fight decisively, like a very decisive fight where he just ransacks the enemy base.
Oh, I'd love to see Elazer even just do a little bit of the small things, like burrowing some of these roaches to regenerate some of the hit points. All the small things can really add up.
Yeah.
As he moves forward, he's like, okay, yeah.
Split off. He's like, I'm going to go attack your non-existent 4th base.
Ooh, I think he actually burrowed. No, he did
burrow
burrow outside the vision range?
Yeah, okay.
But there's an engagement happening over on the far right-hand side, and Elazer is catching a lot of these roaches for Serral.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, Serral's going to be moving across the map. Elazer has vision of this.
Elazer's playing so well this game.
He's playing super well this series.
Doesn't have burrow, and there's an overseer here, so he ain't running. And Elazer has
that's a lot of roaches here.
Elazer has carapace, so his roaches are a little bit tankier than Serral's. They're going to win in head-to-head fights.
And not only are they winning this fight on the south side, but over on the north side, he has enough Ravagers there to try and scare Serral away for a little bit. These roaches are still doing damage. 26 workers killed off. I think Elazer has Serral dead to rights right now in game 2.
Yeah. Also, I was saying before, I'm like, I don't really see. I think Elazer's like crazy far ahead. This is sick. It's multiple macro games. What the hell is happening?
Really, really crazy.
There's a bunch of people that are like, they're canceling their orders for like fallout shelters to be built in their basements because they thought Serral was going to take over the world. They're like, hang on, wait a second. Someone's beating him up.
This is insane. I think I saw Zhugliang on Twitter talking about how Serral had qualified or made it into the top 4 for the past 8 seasons of Challenger, including 2017. So if he, I mean, of course he still would have made it in top 8, but this is insane. Elazer is just playing like a god right now.
Serral's super dead. GG comes out, and Elazer is up 2-0 against Serral.
Okay, so everyone that made predictions, everyone that had their brackets and everything, they're all wrong. Everybody was wrong so far.
Yeah.
Except for that one guy that replied to my tweet and said that Elazer could beat Serral. Because that's
what does that guy get if Serral loses to Elazer here?
I'll follow that guy on Twitter.
Send him like a...
It's like such a lame...
Buy him like a voice pack or something, I was going to say. I mean, something of value, Ravi.
Wow, okay. Yeah, actually, my Twitter followers don't have much value.
Neither do mine.
I follow like 1,000.
Neither do mine.
So.
It's okay.
But you know, you guys should follow at Elazer SC2.
Yeah.
For how awesome his play is.
Ence_Serral. ENCE_Serral. Great player as well. Great players. And StarCraft Esports, who've been putting out a bunch of great content, following everything here. You guys have also made some great clips, by the way. Great job on that. I was looking at some stuff.
The cutting on them is like people really underestimate the value of knowing when to end the clip, because a lot of people will do the lazy clip thing. They'll be like, "Here's the clip. It'll automatically pick 30 seconds, and that's good enough."
Yeah.
But the people who know exactly where to end the clip properly for comedic effect, those people are the real MVPs.
I mean, I'm busy casting all day today, right? So I don't have time to watch that WCS Challenger stuff that's on. But man,
there you go.
I was going on the StarCraft Reddits, man. There's some funny stuff. I really wish I'd been able to tune into that today. You know, got an In Control guy. He's like my favorite caster. He's so funny.
You know, we should just make sure that In Control doesn't have his white monster more often.
Yeah, we need to keep him delirious. That's what we're gonna do.
That's the MVP, Jeff.
Yeah.
The most valuable.
So your goal for the rest of the day when we're done here is you got to follow him, make sure he doesn't get caffeine, and then you're just gonna do like you're gonna get you some tambourines. And you're just gonna play them outside his room.
Just keep him awake.
Keep him in a state of stupor, and then when he comes in tomorrow, it'll be even worse.
Well, you might have to just cast with Jeff. I might not be alive.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm ready. He doesn't have to know it's
Jeff
you.
Jeff is one of those guys that I would not want to be around, pissing him off while he's delirious. I'm like, sounds kind of like it might not be the best strategy.
I am not actually suggesting that we torture this poor man by haunting him, but
yeah,
it might be funny.
All right, Catalyst is going to be our next map. Game number 3. Elazer leads up this series 2-0.
Robbie, where do you sit on the debate? Is Catalyst, or excuse me, is
Blue Shift?
Blue Shift just Catalyst rotated?
No, you know what? I've looked enough at it, and I can identify like 4 or so features that are all different about the map.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that look similar but are not actually similar as well.
I think people are overselling it a little bit. They're overselling it a little bit.
People want to have something to get up.
I know the maps for the new ladder map pool are so good right now that people are just like, well, this is just like a Catalyst reverse sideways. I'm like, that's still a really good map, guys, and it's like, also not.
It's like, is that a complaint? No. It's like, okay. Yeah, well, there you go. Guys, right. I thought Diet Coke tastes too much like normal. I can't handle this. It's too similar. It's just, you just turned it sideways and added the word diet to it.
Spawning over here at the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our red Zerg player. It is going to be Team Clash's Elazer.
If StarCraft was so good, why'd they make StarCraft 2, you know? In the bottom right, the blue Zerg down 0-2. He's Serral?
Question mark?
Question mark? Is he, this is the part where we get the reveal. There's some like weird stuff going on.
They've been playing on each other's accounts.
He's like being mind controlled or something, or like, yeah, how about that? The graphics guy actually just somehow switched everything up.
Yeah, sorry guys. Serral's actually been red this entire time. No.
Well, he should have been, given how the graphics looks. He should just always be allowed to play as red.
I know, right? He
It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy,
This
like
is
the reverse
this is
Flash.
my thought. Is I think that the Liquid players should be forced to always play blue, and the one time I'd be okay with not red versus blue is when two Team Liquid players are facing against each other. And Serral should always be
One
red.
should be blue and the other one should be teal. There you go.
You know,
Or white.
So for the reason why, there's a few reasons why I think that we have always red versus blue. It's because we have all the graphics and stuff.
Well, that's graphics packages.
Graphics packages. There's also at the live event, you have the color shades for the boots.
The LED
and
lights are all programmed, yeah.
So there's all those reasons, as well as the whole, red-green colorblind people, if the players pick red and green, or they pick teal and blue for a ZvZ. But man, sometimes I do wish that we could get specific colors and people would just pick the colors of their team or something.
I mean, people do it in the smaller stuff online all the time, so I'm not too fazed by it. I feel the same way about skins personally. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the majority of them, and if there was, they could always just be changed, or you could just ban like individual ones. But there's all
one of these days, I hope that we get an
like
update to like the game heart, the WCS mod, where it'll just disable the skins for the players, with observers can still see them. I wouldn't mind that.
Well, part of the problem is if a player's using a skin, it's also because they want to see it too, probably, right?
Well, we'll let them see their own skin.
I didn't buy the skins for just for other people to see them. I like looking at my badass Hellions, man. You better believe it. My tricycle Hellions are super cool.
We'll let you see your own skin.
Who's gonna think my Hellion isn't a Hellion, Fear Dragon? Oh my God, it's a three-wheeler. They added a new unit.
It's a vulture.
It's a vulture. Exactly.
Wait, vultures didn't have wheels. They were hovering. That's why they didn't set off Spider.
I don't know, man. Those graphics are really low res.
Have you seen the HD graphics of Brood War Remastered?
I gotta get.
Have you, Nate? Did you actually ever? Did you play?
Yes, I played through the whole campaign. And
oh, okay, okay.
It reminded me how some of those missions are so ridiculous. Like float your engineering bay over to eat spore colony shots while you fly your medevac to the down.
Go save General Edmund Duke.
She's the mission in 2 seconds.
All right, well, we do end up seeing a little bit of deviation in this game as opposed to some of the other ones where we do have Serral staking around on 2 bases. He's actually looking for an Overlord right now. No, he's moving them across, the Queens across the map. He's not looking for any Overlords.
He's going to punch this one in. Before we get into this fight, I do just want to say that mission where Kerrigan gets captured by the Zerg is also, I remembered it being way cooler than it actually was. That mission is actually so boring.
It's just, okay, defend the Zerg.
Go do
from the Terran or
go do this one thing. You like literally go blow up like 3 Protoss bases and then it's like, that's it, it's over. By the way, the entire motion for the next 12 years of this game's lore has been set. Like, oh my God.
All right, the Roaches are now here. They're going to be wailing away at that Roach Warren.
The Roach Warren is going to be so painful for Elazer. Serral has been triggered. He's going to try to punch this one in. He is not happy being down 0-2 in this, but you're seeing that aggression brought back out.
Oh, just one-shotting the Queens.
Yep, that is so big. So many Roaches over here. And don't forget, Elazer can't build Roaches. All he can do are build Lings.
Oh, he's not even restarting a Roach Warren right now. This is really problematic.
Spinecrawler finishes, so he's got that going for him, which is nice.
Oh my God,
guess what?
Hard.
Big Mama Queen's here.
Yep, now the Queens are going to be here. Not only, well, they don't quite have enough energy for transfuser, but they're still able to get a lot of damage done. The reinforcements for Serral are a little bit behind, though. The next wave of reinforcements is eventually going to get here. I think it's still going to be enough, though. Serral's leading up a good amount of supply, and it looks like Elazer has been broken.
Yep. And this is Serral really just trying to reestablish himself in this series. I love it. GG, Serral gets on the board. Thank God this isn't a sweep either way.
Who would have thought the 2 macro games so far would be going to Elazer, and the cheese, the all-in, the unexpected all-in would be going to Serral.
Yep. If you went up to someone, you're like, Nate, I just want you to know that someone's going to win with a cheese. I'm like, oh, Elazer? They'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, yeah. And then guess what happens in the macro games? I'm like, of course, Serral wins.
Yeah.
But we were wrong.
Well, in this situation, there's only one thing we can do, Nate. We're going to hop to a quick break as we get ready for game number 4. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Please don't go anywhere. You're watching WCS European Challenger. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to WCS European Challenger. We are midway through the series of the grand finals here to determine the regional champion. A lot of people were expecting.
Are we midway through?
We are about midway through.
I think technically until we're halfway through the next game, we're not midway, right? There's potentially 7 games, and
we're not midway. We're Blizzard Entertainment.
Until we like start it, you know, we've had 3. There could be 4 more games technically. We haven't started game 4.
Could be as many as 4.
Starting game 4 puts us midway.
But you know, that's my predictions. That's gonna be
okay. You know what? Okay, game 4 is starting. We are midway through our grand final. I'm delirious.
Yes, you are.
I set my alarm for 3 a.m. and I won't lie to you. I watched GSL last night, so.
So did you even go to sleep?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay. No, I won't say anything. But I
didn't know you were about to spoil it.
No, I wasn't going to spoil it. I wasn't going to give any details. I was just going to comment on the length of the broadcast.
Ah, okay.
But it doesn't matter. So, they accidentally played on faster times too, so all the matches were crazy fast. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a setting in the game. Like, who would have thought? God, faster's for chumps, man. If your workers don't build in 10 seconds, you're doing it wrong. In the bottom right, we are loaded in an acid plant. Here's the red Zerg. He is Elazer.
Do you know how long a worker actually takes to build?
In real time,
yeah,
it's about 12 seconds.
Okay. I thought it was 14.
In game,
you might be right.
In game, it was 17 seconds. No,
it was
14 is in-game seconds for Swan in co-op once you have the mastery for Mech Master.
Oh my God, you got 2 next level for me. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player. It's NC Sports' Serral. I want to look up the last time Serral was down 2 games versus a foreigner.
Yeah, well, he's not anymore, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. Do you think he's going to go aggro again?
I wouldn't hate it, actually.
He got battered and bruised in 2 macro games, and then he just backhanded Elazer so hard. Felt it all the way across Europe to get
I really would not hate if he decided to at least test the waters, even if it's not an all-in. The thing about game number 1, game number 2, was that there was very little poking and prodding also.
Yeah.
It was just straight up, okay, we'll
there
get
was
up
no
the
early link play.
There was 8 to 10 lings.
There's no early link play, no early roach play. You're right. They basically, everything happened after the 4th was taken for Elazer. And then Serral's like, I'm not going to take a 4th, I'm just going to kill you. And then he didn't kill him, and then he lost.
So I would love to see him do that light committed pressure, where it's not so committed that he can't transition out, but you're just looking to get some damage done, minor amounts of damage, test the waters a bit. I would also be okay with a big all-in or a big flood.
I think In Control would be too. I think he's actually unconscious in the green room back there.
Well, In Control's all done for the day now.
Yeah.
He's already probably asleep.
Did he head back?
No.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Then
he's gonna make me pay for the Uber to back. In Control just has really bad luck with Uber drivers. Whenever
he has such bad luck that he wouldn't leave to go sleep right now. That's incredible.
Well, he was probably just sleeping.
I would, if I was him, I would have wanted.
Actually,
to get out
no, Nate. He is attentively watching these games like his life depended on it.
Give high-level analysis for when we're in Montreal.
He has to crunch the numbers. He needs the numbers to crunch them.
In Control does 2 things. He streams and he crunches numbers. You think he's here casting, but he's actually this is what crunching numbers is to In Control.
Have we given him a nickname yet? Can we call him like the calculator or something?
No, you know what? We'll give him a tasteless nod. He's the calculus.
He's the calculus.
The calculus.
The calculus.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I think that's a great name for him. Yeah. Baneling Nest is done for Elazer. It's gonna build. Looks like a safety Bane, and Serral doing the same. Nothing crazy.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah.
You realize how many rhymes you just spatted out? He's doing a Bane. He's making a Bane. He's doing the same. It's kind of lame.
My favorite game.
Safety Bane.
When I was a young main was had a lot of rhymes in it. It's a good life to live.
Yeah,
you know.
Certainly wasn't tame.
Gruntilda the Witch, man. She could have been a rapper if she wasn't an evil hag. I'm just putting it out there.
I thought you were gonna say an evil hacker.
No.
Oh.
No.
Gruntilda. Oh, that was a great game.
Yes, it was. We have 2 extractors coming up, +1 missile attacks. So once again, we find ourselves looking down the barrel of a standard ZvZ macro game where Serral is like feigning some pressure. He's not really building a lot of lings. He starts his lair. He's basically like, if you make a giant mistake and lose everything, then I'll slam the gas pedal on lings, but I don't need to.
It's the extra little bits, right? If you force out any extra banelings, that's some gas that's going to be invested into the banelings that are not going to find that much use, as opposed to roaches or getting up a slightly faster upgrade, etc. So I like it.
Yeah.
But of course, Serral is not really going to be feeling Elazer that much, I don't think, just because Elazer has the overlords around the map, so he's going to see any units that are flooding out, or I should say the lack thereof. So he knows this is not actually that committed.
No. I mean, and neither of these players have really wanted to show that. I think Catalyst makes sense with the way that that map is laid out for early aggression, like to do an all-in, like Serral did. Not crazy surprising. Acid Plant, to me, has always been kind of an oddish one, mostly because I'm a defensive player. The third base is kind of stretched out from where that natural is, and then the fourth is stretched in the opposite direction usually. But
yep.
Yeah, we're not. I imagine it's gonna end up being like all the other first 2 games, where it's gonna just come down to someone's gonna take a fourth. Wow. Someone's not gonna take a fourth, and then there's gonna be a big fight.
These queens are super committed to get that overlord. I think this queen's probably going to end up dying to the lings, so might be a nice pick off here for Serral.
People don't talk about this enough, but that overlord, the couple of tiny overlord speed buffs that they've made have caused stuff like this to happen so much more, because the queen can still kill him, but you have to move really far off creep.
I really like it. I really love that you can still kind of get away with the overlord and you have time to react, get some lings there.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Idra from like 6 years ago, back when he was whining about how overlords were too slow, and he ended up being right all along. He was vindicated. Vindicated.
Okay, lings gonna be dancing with these lings, but Elazer's gonna have his roaches popping out, and that is gonna put an end to that. Fourth base is coming up. Overseer gonna be making its way through, getting the full scout out on everything, which is not actually anything super surprising as far as I can tell. Do have a second Evo chamber here. Hasn't quite started the plus. Okay, there's the plus carapace.
Both players are just step in step, like a good little marching band unit. Except for that. Elazer, that was dirty.
11 Bane, or sorry,
that
11
wasn't
drones.
in the script, Elazer. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think he only ended up having to use 3 or 4 banelings there and gets 12 drones in conjunction with a couple of those lings on the right-hand side. Roaches funneling on forward. This is a decent number of them as well.
That was such a nice grab for Elazer there. Like this series, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm like favoring Elazer in a macro game. I'm like, why didn't Serral just do another crazy all-in?
This is getting a little bit nutty. And now the funny thing is, Elazer is up drones, but not 12 or so drones, because there has been re-droning there from Serral. But he is up a lot of army supply already, and if he is able to capitalize on that, there could be something there. They are going to gradually encroach on maxed out, though. So once you hit that maxed out point, yes, you're building up the bank and stuff, but those small little leads, I feel like, do tend to even out.
Yeah. Or shenanigans being researched for Elazer, as that 2-1 finishes up for both him and Serral. And I guess now that the fourth base is set up for both players, now we finally start seeing a couple bigger fights. Elazer just kind of walks up that ramp and eats some big shots, though.
Yeah, probably wants to get the heck out of there. But he's going to be poking forward on the another front. Going to be trying to move up a high ground location. He does seem to have a lot of roaches here, and I think it might actually be enough to break this location. With reinforcements coming out for Serral, he should be able to hold if there's no reinforcements coming in for Elazer, but this is the place Elazer is reinforcing.
Hasn't managed to get the queen or the drones at that base just yet. Meanwhile, Serral pushing back on the northeast side down towards that 5th base that's actually being produced for Elazer. And Serral fighting back with a vengeance here.
Okay, nice dodging out of those corrosive bounds. He's going to be able to push Serral back now as he, like you said, defends that 5th base. But his burrow play is now ready to go. He's got tunneling claws. Serral's trying to do the exact same thing, but a good bit later on, is Elazer going to be able to capitalize on his slightly faster burrowed roach? He's also the one being aggressive, and that does mean you're the one that actually gets to utilize it.
Yeah, this is it's tense. It's a tense situation to be in. He doesn't have access to that same level of tech. Elazer's gotten some really good harass in these longer games versus Serral, and that's helped so much.
Okay, a lot of Crucibles coming down, actually softening up a lot of these roaches here for Elazer. Got to be careful, but the hatchery is also starting to take some damage. Even some of the drones are starting to go down. Even if Serral holds on here, he did lose quite a bit. The roach counter swing also on the north side. A lot of these roaches are losing their lives, but they're getting drones in the process. And down goes the hatchery. We end up seeing Serral continuing to try and commit to this defense here. You think that he will be able to clean this up, but even those roaches burrowing their way all the way over the main.
Yeah, getting into the main base. Those roaches getting so annoying now. 15 drones go down for Serral. As those roaches get pushed back, burrowing into the corner. 18 more roaches on the way for Elazer, rebuilding, rebolstering those forces.
Serral, though, he does have, I mean, some supply lead in terms of the army supply, but there's now infestors coming out over here for Elazer. He's got a lot of those next step answers. He has that 5th base. He still wants to try and defend this. He's rallying his roaches over. I think he will be able to get there in time and push Serral back, but the longer he buys time, the better of a situation he's going to be in.
Yep, we have the infestor coming out. Hive is on the way for Elazer. We've seen great Viper usage, but yeah, that base count. It's looking so good for Elazer. Serral, I do not know what to say about how he's supposed to bring this game back to a good spot. He starts a Hydralisk Den.
Yeah, it's the base count and the tech, because like you said, the Hydralisk Den finally gets started up, but it's, again, going to be up against even just a couple of these infestors for some fungal growth. It looks like just one infestor. Kind of a cute play. I wonder if he's actually... I assume he's going to use it for fungal growth if it
just
died.
one. Just one will do the trick. You don't want to invest too much in him because you don't want it to take up too much of your supply, but adding a fungal to keep the roaches from running away.
Elazer, very spread out, though. With all of these bases, he needs to be able to defend them. One of these bases getting target fired down by these roaches. The drones also not really able to help out here. Looks like those roaches are just right-clicking down the hatchery. And at the same time, Serral's going to move to the top right.
He really needed that. Now he's going to go to try to smite this base in the northeast. Grabbing this is also going to be a huge pickup for Serral. Great grab. Also make sure to throw the bile on the eggs. Cancel those productions.
Okay, Elazer going to be somewhat forced into a fight here after having lost 2 bases, being brought back down to just 3 total. He still has his worker count, but losing those bases was pretty painful against Serral, who's still on 4. Although he hasn't really been mining from this 4th.
It's been a tense game. I mean, both players are maxed out, right? Big thing to note is that the Hive is done for Elazer. However, Serral, he's just getting his, but Serral got +2 Carapace, so his Roaches and Ravagers should be just better in straight up head-to-head engagements, assuming that any a reasonable number of equalities between the two of them.
Okay, Elazer definitely going to take the better trade here, and there is an Overseer here, so this Broad Roach play is not going to be working.
Where you going?
Yeah, just snipe off a majority of these roaches on the south side. They go over to the natural, and a couple will make their way over there, but at the same time, Elazer poking forward at Serral's 4th base. Maybe, is this an overcommitment here from Elazer? Looks like it.
Yeah, a little bit, but Serral still reeling a little. 26 more roaches on the way. Hydra's speed is just about to finish up. He really needs to get, I mean, I guess now is get those Hydras in, mix up that army composition, get something other than just the Roach Ravager. He's got to wait for the range now, too.
Okay, Elazer still has quite a few of those Ravagers to try and make use of. Like you said, that Hive Tech not really being utilized just yet. Trying to snipe off some of these Overlords. Ooh, snipes off an Overseer. That's not bad. It's going to prevent Broad Roach play from Serral moving along, or catching those units along that side. Serral also doing a nice job with the kind of run-by attempts once again on the right-hand side, but not able to do too much, not able to kind of take out any of those bases. Lasers moving forward, throwing down a lot of the Crucibles. He's also trying to get ready to move in on the far right-hand side. There's actually not many units over here.
There's a couple of Spine Crawlers to help lock that down, but yeah, you're right. It's going to be tense. Needs to reposition a lot over here. The Ravagers come up too. That's really nice, giving just more firepower to this. We do have Hydralisks finally being added to the army composition for Serral, so he's looking to just have that beefier force.
Yeah, but still.
With his Hive, I'd love to see him. Yeah, okay, we have +3 attack, +3 Carapace. That +2 Carapace is still just starting now for Elazer, so that's going to be like his disadvantage. That's where he falls behind on.
Yeah, and not only that, but I do feel like Elazer invested in getting up that Hive Tech a lot earlier, but he hasn't been able to see any usage from it. Even just getting up some Vipers, I think, would be really valuable, but I kind of understand. It's been a pretty tense game, but they're both maxed out at this point. Elazer's been building up a bank. And I just feel like trading out some of that roach supply or getting up some other form of hive tech would be really useful here.
Yeah.
Or heck, his own Hydra Den, so he can go into lurkers eventually.
Elazer adding a ton of spines to try and help lock down these bases. He had 7 in production, 2 of them just got smacked down, but he's gonna catch these roaches. Serral doing a nice job over here on the west side, getting a lot of kills for free on this base.
Yep, Elazer doing his best to run away with the roaches he can, but still losing quite a few over there. Dips a little bit in supply, but is able to overcome it eventually.
Yeah, I have my system just following Serral's vision. He's just all over the place, trying to move these units around every which way. Big biles are gonna get dropped across that DMZ of this map on Acid Plant. This is like always the space that people are doing these big battles over. Is he just gonna try to get underneath them?
Oh, there's no Overseer here
for a
Elazer. He's
hold him in place. Hug of death. The roaches get the Ravagers of Elazer and Serral. Oh my God, it's starting to happen again. I can feel it.
Oh my God. Okay, well now we have a situation where there's one Ravager out for Elazer, and he hasn't been making any of the Vipers or anything until now. He's finally getting those Vipers, but those Vipers actually need time to build up their energy. And
needs time, and you know what? He went up 2-0 against this boy, and Serral has activated his Ultra Instinct Fear Dragon. He is becoming unstoppable again. He is handling everything so well. Now, that ramp hard to push up. He's going to do this move again, repositioning the roaches around the side. We do have those Vipers. Blinding Cloud could be tricky. If he does the burrow shenanigans, it won't matter because the units will all be on top of each other anyway.
I mean, Vipers are also starting to come out now for Serral at the same time. So if he waits too long, it's going to become a bit dicey. But here we go. Serral starting to push on forward. The Vipers are here. There are some Blinding Clouds finally being thrown down. But at the same time, we see the rest of the force pushing up the ramp. He backs off as soon as the Blinding Cloud comes down, and it looks like Serral's just dancing back and forth, waiting out the Blinding Clouds and coming from both sides.
Some great biles on Elazer's army here, though, and he has so much money to work with behind all of this. There's more biles raining down. The Hydra's contributing a lot, maybe also being able to kill the Vipers.
Oh.
And Elazer, I don't know what else he's gonna do here. These reinforcements come out. He maybe tries to clean up a weakened Serral army that is cut off from its own reinforcements.
He's getting something done. There's a single roach that has forced an entire mineral line to burrow there.
There's an Overseer there, yeah, so he's still killing those drones anyway.
Yeah.
You don't care.
Oh, this has become a huge, huge problem right now for Elazer, who does not have a bank, as you guys can see. Part of it is because he's wasn't really mining from this bottom left-hand base, and he certainly wasn't mining from the top right-hand base until just now. So he just didn't really have a bank to work with after all those trades happened. So he's sitting down 20-some supply. Serral still has 2,500 minerals, 2,200 gas, and I think was just waiting for some extra larva to try and finish that remax before he moves across the map again.
But Serral has so much money. I mean, I'm waiting for him to just try and like heal up his forces, go for a big attack, and then just endlessly funnel forces across the map, which he should be able to do. Elazer struggling to max out right now. He pretty much is relying on Corrosive Bile and hoping that he can get a big lucky shot off if Serral overcommits to a fight. Pushes too far in. You know, some changelings dropped on his army there.
Yeah, but I don't hate that Serral's playing this a little bit patiently, because he knows that, yes, if he's out of position, one little roach run by just can do a ton of damage, and it'll still be relatively even army supply, and you can just start falling behind very quickly. Still tries to go for a counterattack on the right-hand side, pulls Elazer back, and I thought was going to open up an opportunity for him to move forward. He is going to be able to snag a handful of these units here, though.
Yep, that's nice. Good grab. He's got his Vipers here as well. And you know what? Blinding Cloud is nice, but I also wouldn't mind seeing him just abduct the enemy Ravagers into his forces. Just remove the power units from play immediately and open things up a little bit for him. Counterattack at the top is going to be shut down. There we do have the abductions on the enemy Viper.
Oh, those Blinding Clouds. Very
Blinding Clouds are nice, but it's not enough. Yeah, I think he did pull in a bunch of the Ravagers there.
Oh, the Roach counter force is not going to be enough.
Serral
GG.
ties the series up 2-2.
As soon as you start doubting this guy, he just starts showing up.
Got ourselves a long ZvZ series on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, well, Serral able to bring this into a game number 5 now, as we are going to be moving on and seeing what map is going to be picked next. Still haven't seen that Redshift just yet, but this is actually probably the most exciting or closest series that we've seen so far in Challenger.
Yeah, well, we got
like
all
this
the way to Game 5 in
playoffs.
the last one, but yeah, this series is actually competitive.
I think,
to a
yeah,
really nice
it was
degree.
weird because like the last series went to a Game 5, but individual games didn't feel like they were super duper close. That said, like maybe one.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas this one, I feel like it's actually pretty close for the most part. Outside of I think one game where Serral just went for all in Game 3, and it was just like, okay, Elazer just dies here.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the units.
Super dead.
But that last game, the first 2 games, all really, really close between the two.
I'm trying to think about what maps we still have to play on. I feel like we've gotten through a lot of the good normal
So
macro
we've gone through
ones.
acid plants, we've gone through catalyst. I
We've
think
still got to do
we did
Redshift,
16.
like
we did
talked
16-bit. Redshift is one. Darkness Sanctuary is another.
Yeah, so dark. So we're getting into the more strange maps.
Actually,
now.
yeah, there's only 3 maps, so there's
We're
one.
heading
There's
down
one left
there.
that we're missing.
Heading down a dark road here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through what is the last map as I like.
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher. Did we already play your Dreamcatcher? No, we haven't. You're correct. We're going to Dreamcatcher.
Got him.
Game number 5. Following that up, it'll likely be either Darkness Sanctuary or Redshift. I wouldn't be surprised. I think most Zerg players actually prefer Darkness Sanctuary over Redshift. Unless you have some like funky
Do they
plans.
now?
Because unless you have some funky plans for Redshift, going for like the weird gold-based stuff and shenanigans, the spine crawler rushes, the banelings exploding over the gold base, like there's so many weird things going on with that map.
Yeah, the map does get weird. I don't disagree with you there.
Whereas Darkness Sanctuary, I think like it can be weird, but it's usually like it can be okay a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean maps where we have pocket bases that are pointed towards our opponents. You know, that's
Yeah.
it's always interesting when you like look at map concepts. You're like, well, is having a pocket base towards your opponent, does that map like disprove that it's like good or balanced? I don't think so, because it could have been handled in a very different way where it wasn't your mineral line literally exposed to the opposite side of the ground. But
You know, I'm pretty unique.
I
in
love
this.
messing with those concepts though.
Yeah.
Like having a very safe, quote unquote, base that is exposed, but maybe to like just ranged units to a degree, but like in a slightly different way where there's like length of sight blocker or something.
Yeah.
But
I'm kind of in the camp that I'm actually okay with the idea of slightly asymmetrical maps. Just like slightly in the same sense that rotational symmetry is kind of
the layout of
asymmetrical.
maps, the layout of maps is affected and does affect the randomness.
Yeah.
You know, like where the larva spawns on this guy's hatchery.
Very
in
accurate.
the bottom right. He is a laser.
Although I never realized this though, Nate. But both of these players have their larva on the south side, and the mineral patches are on the south side.
Yeah.
Cool touch from Dreamcatcher. But up here in the top left, we have our blue Zerg player. It is Team Esports' Serral. I never appreciated that both players' bases are facing the same direction. A lot of the time, your mineral patches are just on the absolute opposite side.
You've also got a billion places to hide your overlords over stuff, so someone was definitely looking out for the Zerg bros on this one. Thankfully, they don't have one of those spots right outside your natural, though.
Unfortunately, Terrans still have to build their add-ons on the... It's still better in worse side.
Imagine if a map maker was like, this map can't be symmetrical to do it the way that I want to do it, but imagine if they did some sort of thingy to keep the distance between bases or whatever from mains, like if a Reaper comes out, the same. But you just had it set up so that you could always have the add-on on the inside on like a top versus bottom map.
Imagine if...
Now, how many people do you think would complain if that was the one asymmetrical thing where they're like, well, the ramp is on the top on the bottom base.
Everybody.
And the ramp is on the bottom on the top base. It's like, well, that's
you know why?
not perfect, Fear Dragon.
You know why?
Why?
Because then suddenly, I have a new place that I can cannon rush with 2 pylons. I think if you create that little...
So it'd be easier to cannon rush one of the bases. Well, what if you... I'm just saying that there's a way you could do this. It wouldn't be symmetrical, but you could...
Are you talking about the top? You're talking about the top of the ramp.
I'm just telling you that. I'm just saying that there could be a way to make a map without changing, like, without making the whole map asymmetrical, where you could try to remove stuff like
Specific aspects.
trying to have the minerals below the base, for example.
Or you just have a neutral reactor on the
Zerg.
in your main base, and
You know what?
you
I'll
just
take
it.
that. Yeah, I'll take a neutral reactor. Let's go, baby.
What if it was like a neutral reactor that also acted as a pylon?
I'm
and,
just saying the
and
Zerg
creep.
The Zerg problem is easier to solve. The larva should just always gravitate towards where the nearest mineral line is. There you go. There, your problem solved. All right, we gotta bring in a whole new. We gotta bring the art team back in and redesign how Terran works
there
to
was
fix that
there was a
add-on
secret
problem.
in Brood War, as we do have a lot of lings been flooded out right now for Serral, but there was a secret in Brood War. If you just kept right-clicking your larva in a direction, it would actually gradually start moving in that direction. You could actually get your larva closer to the mineral line if you were just spam clicking.
Nice.
But okay, here we go. Oh, the Overlords are not going to spot this for such a long time.
Ooh la la.
Oh, boy. And he's going to move forward with the Ling, but the Ling comes in a little bit late. He may have noticed the lack of saturation over there, but now he's going to see all the Lings are this third. The wall in, he just has to complete it.
Yep. He's gotta buy as much time as possible for that Roach Warren. Try to get out.
Is that a kill, not a cancel? Oh. We'll double check. No, it's just a drone kill.
He's just gonna force his way through here. That's so many Zerglings.
Yeah, gets the Queen over there into a nice position so he can re-wall this in. It looks like Serral does not want to continue committing to that. He gets up his own third base, gets up his +1 weapons as he was before, and starts up his third.
God, imagine if he, like, 200 IQ ran in right as those evolution chambers got canceled.
I mean, that's the true move. Like, Psystorm Gaming true.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, no.
Oh! Not to make, just, like, turn into a monkey on you, Fear Dragon, but we got a Nidus network on the way.
Oh!
Ooh, ah!
Oh!
Can you guys tell we got here at 3 in the morning? Layers on the way for Serral. +1 missile is about to finish. So that makes this interesting in my mind because, like, oh, he's going to have +1 missiles on his roaches, and he's getting Nidus. So the roaches are going to come out of the Nidus worm for Elazer, but they're not going to be as good as the roaches that they're going to be saying well met.
There's still this weird situation where the Lings are still poking in at the front, so they're not going to be there to help Serral defend. There aren't that many roaches out for Serral, but...
Doesn't know... Yeah, okay. He is aware of the circumstances which are now surrounding him.
But the Queen... Oh, the Queen's loaded up. The front gate's open if he does decide to run in with the Lings.
I'm surprised he didn't surround the Nidus. Did he want him to come out into his base because he had the upgrade advantage?
I think he knows that he had an inferior number of roaches because he made so many Lings. So he knew that if he just dove in on top of it, it would have been rough.
He didn't preemptively get on that Nidus at all, though, which, I mean, I guess he must not have seen it because I surely wouldn't have expected him to pull his drones like this.
He's still not that behind.
14 of them.
But he's still not that behind on drones. He kills off the Nidus Storm. He's going to be able to kill off the remaining Queens. I actually think that this is an acceptable defense.
Was it just a great debate then, since Serral's only behind a few workers? Does he just counterattack now?
Oh, because he draws all the units away from the Nidus.
Yeah, it's like, well, I killed all your queens, so now you can't inject. I say that, and now
queens
injecting.
Yeah.
Ignore everything.
No, it's fine. I get what you're saying. It delays things a little bit. The third base is still not going to be there. Oh, Elazer did cancel his own third base to get all of that done, though.
Serral canceled.
Oh, sorry, Serral, yeah. And Lings. Yeah, you know, I think that it would have been a pretty difficult hold without those Lings, but I do also feel like, man, it would have been great if Serral had, as soon as he saw that Nidus Worm going, at least poking at the front to see the Queens weren't there.
I agree. If he gets the Lings over there and kills drones during that, then I think we're really looking at the makings of a tight game there.
Yeah. Okay, well, +1 missile attack, still only halfway done right now for Elazer, but +2 missile attack, nearly halfway done for Serral. So Serral's going to be maintaining a very solid upgrade advantage, but Elazer's going to be going for the Spire, and is this Overseer going to spot it? Looks likely. Or is it?
Ooh, move north right before it dies, deploy it.
Nope.
He's trying to hide it. Trying to hide that Overseer.
Oh, because he's getting a snipe off on the third base, which is also pretty nice, but he really needs it at least to suspect a potential Spire, if not actually scout it out directly.
Yeah.
Has he seen the third and fourth gas geysers? I mean, even if he did, it might have just been because of the Nidus Worm.
That's true. Yep. Oh, man. It's a hard call. Hard call to make. I mean, how many queens does Serral have? Just 2. Okay, he's getting a third. Ugh. I mean, he could also just do a mega roach. Look how many roaches he has. He could just do a mega roach attack and just try to bowl him over. Look, he even walled himself
can't
in.
even make many mutas right now. He's got enough for 6 mutas with the Spire completing, and he's gonna lose his third base once again. That gets canceled.
And he's just holding on for life. +2 attack is almost done for Serral. I mean, you start your Hydralisk den at home, queue up your queens, and push, but he's not going to. Wow, okay, that's a mistake, I think. I think he could have forced a lot here. And by that, I mean he could have thrown the game away, so I should just ignore everything.
It would have been, I think, been a little bit
like
difficult,
double the roach count before, so I don't know.
Yeah, but he doesn't know about the Spire necessarily. So he may think that it was just all these repeated third base attempts. Because remember, he's canceled the third base for like 4 or 5 times. And if you're in a situation where you've just been canceling your opponent's 4th base, and you have your own third base, and you have your own, you could just go back home and just continue to deny the third base. And now he sees the mutas, but he still has a much faster third base, more workers, and all he needs to do is get up Hydras, and I think it's still okay for him.
Yeah, a little bit more difficult to cross the map in that scenario. And of course, the Hydras are going to be a soft, squishy target if the roaches are ever able to kill the Hydras.
Decent number of mutas were made now as we are up to
What does that
7.
cap out at 7? Yeah.
Probably will just leave it at 7 now as he continues to go and reinvest back into roaches. Gets up his +2 missile attack upgrade. And the bright side is, since there's no hive, Serral can't continue with his upgrade advantage. So it will eventually be evened out and actually put in Elazer's favor with the Carapace upgraded there.
Yep. So all things said and done, Elazer's upgrades will be a little bit better when he reaches that point. But oh my God, okay. March of the Penguins, anybody? The Queens are coming.
The roaches have to get under the safety of the queens. As one of those, there it is.
Wow,
GG.
taps out GG. Serral goes up 3-2. I did not. I thought we would at least see the fight there. Okay.
You know,
He's like, yeah, I can't beat that.
You know, Nate, what I've realized is that Serral has actually been rewatching a lot of these broadcasts we've done for WCS Austin and Valencia.
He realized that we kept saying
and he
it was
says
so
we just
boring.
kept saying it was boring, so he decided he wanted to make it interesting, entertaining.
He's like, I'm going to play a boring macro game and kind of let him do what he does.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he took maps off me. That's nice. Now I'm going to finish, and I'm going to win this.
Wow. It's just...
So I was like, you took 2 maps off me, and I'm going to win 4 in a row, baby.
Yeah. Well, what's better than a 4-0? A reverse kill. Really, you look like you're kind of bleeding a little bit, and you're like, actually, no, I was just faking it.
We do have
That's the
WWE
Dragon Ball.
writers
That's
here
the
at
Dragon
WCS,
Ball
ladies
Z
and
move.
gentlemen.
That's the Dragon Ball Z move, right? Where you just pretend like you're kind of struggling a little bit. You're like,
And then he's
okay,
like-
now I'm gonna go to my
And then
final
Sarah's
form.
like, let me take off my jacket, which actually weighs 200 kilograms. And this entire puts a crack in the ceramic on the floor. Everyone's like,
I mean, he's got all forearms, man. Did you see him in the GSL vs. World? It was like crossed arm pose.
yeah.
That's a muscle.
A lot you can do with cameras out these days. Just let you guys know. Framing is everything.
Why can't they make me look a little more buff? I'm like,
Like, you got to make me look
Scrawny
like
little
I'm
arms.
6 foot tall like you are, you
Yeah.
know? There you go, technology.
that's very true. Well, that was all natural, right? They grew you.
Oh, I was going to say the box is made of wood, which is natural, yeah.
I told you that I was gonna get you a gift at Montreal, right? I'm gonna get you
You gave me a custom
an
box.
custom box that's gonna have like either Nate memes on it or it's gonna have like America memes on it.
Maybe. When StarCraft talent starts getting first class, that's when I'll feel bad about being short. As long as we're riding economy, I know Roddy's cooped up in there, like literally dying on the flight, and I can actually completely stretch out and sleep. So, once that problem is taken care of,
You know, the joke's on you because I feel like one of the things I never. Whoop, I
the
just got-
lobby died.
Okay. Sorry, I was laughing because there's someone named Rip in the lobby. I was like, and I misread it as Rip the lobby in the chat.
Ah,
I was very confused for a moment. I was gonna say, you know, in airlines, this is something I've noticed. I feel colder in airplanes when I have too much leg space. If I go into like economy plus or something and they give me a lot of leg space, or I get like the free upgrade to first class, I'm like, it's really cold because it's like too much dead airspace.
that's one of the most privileged complaints I've ever heard in my life, Fear Dragon.
It's an
Don't they give you a
economy-
blanket when you ride in the rich class area?
The rich class area.
I was waiting for them to remake the lobby now.
No, I think I'm the only person I know who's actually ever been asked, like, "Sir, would you like to go to first class?" I'm like, "No, it's colder there."
You've done that?
I've actually declined going to first class because I thought it was colder.
One day. We all can't be so fortunate as you, Fear Dragon.
Wow.
See, now you know. Now you guys know. Now you guys know why we all bully Fear Dragon all the time. The truth is out there.
Because I denied first class
Stay woke.
efforts.
Stay woke, ladies and gentlemen. Got the lobby invite.
Oh. All right. Game number 6. Serral on the verge of the reverse. I don't find it weird. I'm not Jeff. You can type and look at me all you want. It's not this intimate thing you're doing with your keyboard.
Is it, though?
Okay, guys. We're moving on to Darkness Sanctuary for game number 6. Will this go the full distance in game number 7, or will Serral be able to end it right here, right now, at a 4-2 victory? Let's find out.
Will the young, up-and-coming whippersnapper
He's wearing-
topple the
he's wearing
giant of
blue.
Europe?
And he's up against the red Jedi Sith. Come on.
But he's playing as red in-game.
That's a,
It's
oh, yeah.
time to find out. And in the bottom left, spawning as the blue Zerg player, representing ENTS Esports, he is Serral.
Or you get the other one.
In the same voice.
I don't know. You could do Tasteless's voice.
In a world where people play video games for money, one nerd.
Well, no, I'll do the tasteless intro, but then I just don't say the name.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
They have the GSL stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is the red Zerg player. It's Elazer. That is not my tasteless impression.
You could have, I mean, honestly,
I
with
thought of
the graphics that we use at the start of the game, you could not say the name if you wanted to. You could give the ultimate intro without the name, and then the name just appears. And then everybody that's listening and not actually
We should just
watching
do text-to-speech.
will hate you. But let's be real. They've all muted us at this point anyway.
I know.
Everybody's like, guys, it's like noon in America. It's like 9 p.m. in Europe.
How are you
guys-
not awake yet?
How are you not awake yet? I'm like, well, I got up at 3 in the morning after watching GSL
No, you know
all
my
night.
my favorite part was someone asking, why did they even get up at 3 in the morning then? I'm like, do you not understand when we started? We just, that's when we started the
believe me,
broadcast.
I would have loved to start this at 9 p.m. European time. Yeah,
love it.
let's
I
have the
love it.
European finals at 2 in the morning over there. Seems good.
Yeah, it's not like the players sleeping on getting a reasonable
This is
amount of sleep
why
is important.
I only look for casting feedback advice and
In the caster
tips.
feedback thread.
only in Twitch chat. That's it. It's the only place I'll look to.
That is
Right.
the best place to look for it.
Yeah.
Like, I think my favorite
My
favorite piece of Twitch chat from today was Jeff and you were talking about the Meisterschaft.
Oh yeah.
And then you talked
Very
about
prestigious
and
tournament.
then you talked about the Schloppy Shaft. And I think my favorite Twitch comment from that entire thread of everybody laughing was one person legitimately being enraged saying, Schloppy isn't even a German word. It's just like, that's what you took away from that. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a great, beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Link speed's on the way for both guys, by the way. Everything
Yeah.
is the same so far. So.
We're watching. We're watching. that
We're
production
watching the
stuff.
game, okay? We know you guys can't see us, but we're not sitting here playing patty cake while we try to think of random dumb things to say.
Do you know how to play patty cake?
No. I don't have the slightest clue. Bailey Nest. Ooh. Look, Serral. He's making more circlings.
Getting up his own Bailey Nest as well.
Are we going to diverge?
Just drones right now for Elazer. Serral. Okay.
Serral.
Elazer.
Serral.
Now, funny thing is, Elazer did scout the correct direction first, and their overlords pass each other. They know what direction each other spawned in. But the problem about Darkness Sanctuary is that it's not always easy to stick your overlords around. But oh my God, Elazer is actually going to have really good vision and see
Now,
all of this.
As the Bane Nest finishes, he's getting drones and overlords. So Serral does not appear to want to completely hard commit to this, where he's going to, put the game in on it. But this is a nice little bit of pressure that he's got himself set up for. Only 14 lings, but he's forcing Zerglings out of Elazer. He does have more lings than him.
That's a dead third. That third does not get up.
It's a great cancel on the third base. And if he wants, he can get a couple Banes, try to do a light contain while he takes his own third.
I think you poke forward with at least one of the legs. Not all of them like that. Does eat a pretty big Baneling.
Yeah, ouch, yeah. Yeah.
But he has his own third base. Behind this, he keeps two of his own Banelings alive. and a handful of the Lings, so he's still going to have enough to defend against an immediate counterattack. So it's still not a terrible, it's actually still a pretty good spot for Serral.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, denying the third base in a situation like this is always fun. Like, I think having that ability is great. What really sucks, honestly, is just that he can't try to poke it back again because he lost those Lings with the poke up in the ramp. Because you kind of hope to use your Lings there, and then the few Banes that Serral had, you would want to...
How is this Ling still alive? Oh my god. That Ling just got the full wraparound twice on that base and saw everything. Now, looks like Elazer's also going to scout in. Sees the Roach Warren coming down inside the main base. He's going to know that this is not just sticking around on Ling Bane for too much longer. Both these players getting up their lair tag. Both these players getting up their +1 missile attack. The only real difference, again, is going to be that later third here for Elazer.
Yeah. We've got the lairs pretty well timed between the two of them, though. +1 missiles, very close between the two as well. Serral, I wonder if he's going to try to springboard off this earlier third and the income that he gets from it to try and do a different sort of attack, you know? Like if he just follows this up where he's like it's a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 sort of build rather than a Ling poke and then just play macro game type, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to decide which one I would like
Keeps
more.
getting random Lings into Scout, by the way. This is pretty hot.
Yeah, confirmation on the lair timing and everything, knowing that there is going to be an attack despite the fact, or sorry, there is going to be macro coming out, despite the fact that, of course, third base. Whoa! Baneling run by? 7 drones.
He just sneaked 2 in, turned him into Bane.
Snuck him in so well that even I didn't see him. Not that that's actually much of an accomplishment. There is one random stray drone here. That's a little awkward.
You know what? He's just paying the Bane tax, that's all. And
where did that... Oh, there's a Ling there, I guess?
Yeah. Weird game. This game's already...
This is already an odd
not
game.
comfortable. I need my comfort blanket.
Okay, Queens with creep will be able to catch this Overlord if they continue to spread it a little bit more. Nope, they're going to get caught, and then they're going to get saved.
The Roaches are here to save the day. Roach speed is on the way for both players, +2 attack immediately for Serral, by the way.
Love when people are super on point about just starting up that next upgrade.
Yeah, if we see it get canceled sometimes, if the Zerg's a little desperate to get out Roaches and they're spending all of their resources, because Serral has more workers, and Elazer looks like he wants to end this game right now, one way or the other. He's down a lot in economy, and he is just putting all of his chips down on red, I guess, because that's the color he's playing as to try and kill Serral right now.
I don't think it's a terrible move, as we do see a situation where Serral, even with the defender's advantage on Darkness Sanctuary, is having trouble mustering up quite the same number of Roaches, but here we go. Ravagers have been morphed in. The Queens are going to get involved in this fight here for Serral. Starting to push Elazer back little by little, but the Corrosive Bile's forcing them back. The Queens are starting to go down, even with the transfuses.
Yeah, this is a difficult situation to be able to defend from. Having that Roach speed is extremely important here. The concave I really like for Serral defending this attack could give him the Grand Finals championship. Our potential European champion being crowned off the back of a counter here if Serral decides to slam the pedal to the metal and go back across the map. Oh, you're right, this guy.
This is insane.
You know what, Serral, he wasn't sure if he wanted to learn how to like really smack talk in interviews or whatever, but he's like, you know what?
Was he playing with one hand before?
Like, maybe I can make things interesting. Maybe I could hold back just a little bit and then win 4 games in a row because I reminded everyone I'm still numero uno.
Before I only showed you 80% of my power, I'll now show you 100%. Is this even 100%? I don't even know anymore.
Oh, he was trying to go some 200 IQ biles there. He ran over his own. Try to bait those Roaches into him as they chase.
He's just trying to set up for the forward-thinking mind game. It's like, look at how little damage they do. They didn't kill any of my Roaches.
Elazer, by the way, is hoping that Serral counters because he is literally just building Roaches. He's not doing anything else.
But in a situation where they just both continue to make Roaches, Serral will eventually overtake him because he has 62 workers and he's making
I'd like to remind you that he canceled that +2 attack like I kind of talked about earlier, so he doesn't have that advantage. He started it again, but...
Yeah, he's also winning this fight over here where the ramp. He's winning everything, and he wins WCS
Serral.
European Challenger.
I'm in.
Again.
3
times in a row. Blizzard asked us before this broadcast, who should we make this graphic for? And we said Serral, and they said, who else? And we're like, Serral.
You just want you guys to know that we went into the server room. We actually deleted the original PSD file this was based off of so that another one could not be made. And we got a vacation for the guy who knew how to make the original one because we knew that Serral was going to win. There was no point in having another graphic.
Exactly.
But you know what? I will say, I had a little bit of that Monka-esque going on when Elazer was up 2-0. After 2 macro games, Elazer played a great match, and then Serral was just, it all started with Serral just being like, that all in.
Yeah.
He's just like on Catalyst, he's like, I'm taking control of this match now.
I had that moment even in that 6th game where we ended up seeing Elazer pushing across the map. You're like, Serral, you are down 15 roaches, and your opponent has 25 roaches. So that's you're less than half the supply right now of your opponent's army. Is this going to be okay? But still manages to muster up the force in the absolute nick of time and make it work.
Yeah, as they say in Roddy's stream, Svetlana, not bad, but still super dead. There you go. Congratulations to Serral as he continues his reign of terror throughout the Kaprulu sector. And I got nothing else to say about that. I think everybody's excited to
We're
see
going to let
how
the
he's
results
gonna play.
speak for themselves as we just really quickly go over the bracket for our wonderful WCS playoffs here for our last season of Challenger in 2018. Serral is your champion, 4-2 over Elazer, 3-1 over Lambo, and 3-0 over Namshar, beating many of the best Zerg players in the entire European region.
Sit down, play 3 ZvZs, win money, easy.
Big shout out though to both Elazer as well as, of course, Lambo for putting up some pretty good fights versus Serral, and of course we also had some really other awesome games.
Making their qualifications as well. Still important to note that
getting that top 4 spot.
The top 4 spot is important for seeding into WCS Montreal, which is coming up very soon.
Yeah, in about 2 weeks only, so not too much more time. These players, the form that you guys see here is going to be so important. Building that confidence here, even if your name is not Serral, being able to have a good performance here is going to be really nice. Going into Montreal to say, you know what, I still got a chance. I can still make one of those deep runs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in for WCS European Challenger. Now, while we are done for today, there is still the North American Challenger coming up tomorrow. And let me tell you, that is going to be an absolute treat.
It's going to be a damn bloody mess. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be our disgusting bloody mess.
Yes. We're NA players. I'm allowed to get into that, okay?
I'm in Masters League now.
People are like, why don't I respect NA? I'm like, I am NA. I'm a part of this,
this
mud pile that we call NA StarCraft, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful mud pile.
It is my favorite mud pile.
I roll around in it every day.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't go anywhere for more StarCraft action.